how it all works. And what we'll be doing is we will be writing this in Bash interactively. So sharpen up your VI skills or use the Jupyter Hub notebook and use the editor that's inside the browser. It might be easier for you, but I find it a little bit clumsy because it doesn't work as fast because you always have to refresh everything. Okay. But to start with, let's talk a little bit about what this access log is. This access log is part of any of your web-enabled services. So if you have web-enabled services, you're keeping track of who's visited your website. And this is an example of the data that is collected. So this is the IP address of the person that visited my website. And this is when it happened, what they were looking at, what they were running on, Windows NT 6.3. What is that really? Windows 6 or Windows 7, I think. Maybe it's, yeah, Windows. You know, they went 7, 8, and they skipped Windows 9 and went right to 10. Everybody know why? Because there was a Windows 98 and a Windows 95, and it would have messed up all the backporting. A bunch of apps would have died a dismal death. That's why they went from 8 to 10. Okay. What they looked at, the machine, and what the browser is, and then these last two numbers, I forget what they're for, but I think that's a response code. Here, they were looking for something and they get an error 404. So they're looking for something. So it looks to me like this person might be a robot because they're looking for something. They're looking for things they can exploit. I don't have this stuff on my machine. So where are they looking for? Well, they're robots. They're scripted. I was working with another fellow today. He's got an orange pie, and he wants to put his orange pie on his router. And I told him, you better put a firewall on. And he says, can I share my desktop over the internet? I said, sure. And I'll give you 15 seconds before your machine is compromised, and you will lose all your data. Because as soon as you open that port 3389, which is the terminal services for Microsoft, you're going to get exploited out the wazoo. There are ways to do it, but I don't recommend that. Okay. So what we will be doing is we are going to create a table of IP addresses and what country they're coming from. And we're going to use a database already on the system. It's called geoip lookup. And what it does is it's installed on the Jeremy bot. And if you pay a fee, you can get a lot more data, like Latin long. You can actually get Latin long of the IP addresses. Now imagine that in wartime. That can get, what else has an IP address? There was a project that Google had for a while called Tango. And it was the ability to use your phone and it would go through the inside of your house and you could map it. And it was within 6 inches. It was amazing. Imagine somebody does that. You now have perfect targeting capability with an explosive drone. They removed that project from the public domain. So what we'll be doing is writing a script, uses geoip lookup, and it looks up an IP address. So if I just do that and type in this one up here, this guy, let's find out where they're from. Could be stateside. Oh, Russia. Does that surprise me? Not in the bit least. Not in the least. The amount of robots that get hit against machines is like 90% of your traffic. So if you don't use something like fail to ban, help me keep track of that 7 o'clock. So I'll start yammering and completely forget. There's this tool called fail to ban. It's a Python script that does all sorts of magic. And what it allows you to do is block entire countries. I have not installed that on this machine because I like showing this demo. And there's nothing on the machine anyway, so it's not like there's personal information, there's no data, there's nothing on there. And I know that they do deep packet inspection for everything that goes to the Jeremy box. Because the way you get to the Jeremy box, it actually does a loop through the Palo Alto. So if there was anything bad, the Palo Alto is going to catch it. Okay, that is a monster machine. It's pretty cool though. So what we'll be doing is taking our files in this directory. All of them. All of these files, you're going to write a script. And what we will do is create one giant table. Then we will sort them. And then we'll find out what countries they're from. And then we'll put counts in there. So how many times did Russia hit us? How many times did Ukraine or Japan or whatever? So that's what we'll be walking through tonight. So the first thing we have to do is think about how we want to structure this. We have several different types of files in here. Whoops, let me get in there. Home, logs. Well, access log is the file I just showed you. So I can say cat access log. It's in ASCII, isn't it? You can read it. How about access log 1? Oh, it's also in ASCII. I can read that. All right, let's do this ASCII. Let's pick 2.gz. Is it out there? Yep. 2.gz. You ever notice how things sort? 1, 10, 11, 12, and then the 2 is at the end, and then 3, and then all of a sudden 3's at the end of the 3's. This is called ASCII sort order. This is the default sort in most sorting. If you want numeric, you have to say numeric, or in what the tool will use is n, -n. So that's why this is normal. This is not broken. But let's cap this file. Yeah. Yuck. All right. There's data in there. How do you get the data out? First of all, we'll use the magic command that we have with our Unix system called file. And then we will probe our file and it will tell us what kind of file it is. So if I type in file, oh, it's gzip. Oh, that's good to know. You're all familiar with .zip for the most part. That's kind of the default on Windows. But did you know there's a gazillion others? There's a lot of them. Gzip has been around for decades. It just gets faster. It's one of your best all-purpose compression. There is a tool called XZ. I'll put that up here. gzip and then XZ. This is good general. This is awesome on pure text files, but it does take some time. It takes a little bit longer. But if you're just compressing log files that probably won't get looked at very often, XZ can give you a better compression ratio than gzip. And gzip, by the defaults, is relatively quick. You can make it slower by making the compression better. Make it compress more. Or don't make it as small, but make it faster. So the defaults in gzip are right in the middle. So it's a nice, it doesn't take a long time to extract, and it doesn't take a long time to compress. So does that mean I need to go through and decompress every single file before I want to work on it? Well, it could, but let's find out if we have another option. So if I do man space K on gzip, and okay, look, there's Z force. Okay, never use that one, but the gzip, that's there. And K means look for everything on our system that has a gzip. So if I need a file, it says, I need something. I know there was a command that has something to do with files. What's it called? Oh, I don't remember, but somewhere in here, this everything, either in the title or in the description, has the word file in it. So man space minus K is a way to search your system, your man pages, to find out if you have anything close to that name. Okay. So now if I do man gzip, it tells me all the wonderful things to do. And let's look at synopsis. Remember that story I was telling you that there's one executable, and based on how you call it, it changes its behavior? Gzip used to be like this. It's not that way anymore. It's now 3 separate programs. But notice gzip, that's what makes things small and squished. It puts the .gz at the end. Now, what do you suppose gunzip does? Yeah, you got it. What do you suppose zcat does? We did cat access log, right? What would happen if we did cat access.2.gz? It says it's part of GZ, right? Oh, slick. Now I have a tool that lets me extract all this lovely data without having to decompress it first. So I want you to think in terms of a for loop. We got a bunch of files, put an array, and we can say access log and access log 1, use cat, and it sits there and pulls all the IP addresses out. And then we run it through sort, and we run it through compress. And we'll start with just that process. We'll start with one file, and then from there, we'll add stuff to it to make it do its thing, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to author this in my own home directory, okay? And we created one called in class, right? Yeah, let's do that. You should all have a directory called in class and echo $path and see if in class is in your path name. In my case, it is not. Let's do it this way. I should probably use the tux. Anyway, in class, echo dollar path. Everybody have home username in class in their path statement when they type in echo? If you don't, let's fix it, or it's going to bite you later. And you're going to say, why doesn't my stuff work? Okay, let's get it fixed. So when you say echo dollar path, you should see in class in there somewhere. All right, this is where we're going to put our script. And what are we going to call it? I don't know. How about IP country? Okay, I'm simply going to call it IP. What's the country code? ENC. I'll just say CC, country code. IP CC. Now, I don't need a .sh or a .txt or anything else because I'm going to be writing a shell script. Unix requires a shebang line at the top, which is shebang bin bash, and we give it the name, and then we give it a quick demo. Loop through, loop over access logs, find IP and country. That's what we'll be doing. Okay. Now, how do we build this system and how do we make it work? Well, I'm going to show you a few tricks, and I'm going to build this script incrementally. And when it comes to bash, I highly recommend incremental because bash is so quirky, you're going to forget some of the syntax and you're going to write a whole mess of code and you're going, why doesn't that work? Oh yeah, I put a space on the equal sign. Darn, I forgot that. Yeah, trust me, you will. Okay. This is a technique I use a lot of, and it's like this. LST equals $, and then I will simply say ls/home/logs. And then I'll leave it right like that and close it. And here I will simply say echo $LST. So what is these two lines doing? It's running a command and taking the output and putting it into a temporary variable called LST, list. And then I'm echoing it. Okay. So I hit escape WQ and I can test it by doing bash IPCC. There they are. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But I know I'm going to get tired of typing bash. What's the command I need to make it executable? We covered it once. chmod +x IPCC. Now you should be able to type in IPCC and it should work. If this does not work for you, you do not have in class as part of your path. And you will have to type in /IPCC. Okay. We really don't care what order they're in, do we? But we do know that these two are the ones that we're really going to want to look at through cat, and everything else is going to be zcat. So we could do a nested loop, okay? A couple of for loops. But let's start with making this work with 1.8.12. Boy, the clock on that thing is way off. Okay. Let me do this. I'm going to open a window. All right. Well, I will have to leave here shortly. Okay. Now we'll get started with this. Go back into our VI here. So there's my list. Now, what I want to do is for each list, we can say for X in dollar list, do echo $X. Done. What this does is basically loops through everything in our list and then displays it. Okay. This is why I make sure everybody knows how to write a for loop. And notice it's now listed this way. All right, it's still kind of an ASCII sort order. Okay. The only one we really want to mess with for the time being is access 1. Okay. So let's do it this way. I'm going to comment out this stuff. And I'm going to use the non-typical multi-line comment. I actually really like this. It works great. So what I'm going to do is the same thing, LST equals $, except this time I'm going to do this, cat home logs access.logs for X in $LST to echo $X. Done. Remind me that's the end of the file. Okay. This does the same thing as our previous one, except of giving me a list of everything that's in the directory. I'm actually catting a single file and putting the entire content into my temp. And then I'm going to display it. So here we go. Wow, look at all that messy stuff. It cut every single thing out. Oof. Is that what I want? No. That's not what I want. So there's a couple hundred different ways to deal with this next thing. Is we know that the IP's first. So let's do this. Echo vertical bar cut dash field 1 on the delimiter space. Now, what did I just do? Well, echo is taking each character. I could do this another way with IFS, but I don't want to teach that yet. Okay. We can change our IFS and do this parsing one line at a time. Well, what we'll be doing here is, since it's everything, it's going to cut and it's going to give us the first field on each line. This is still going to be funny looking. But let's give it a shot. Let's see how it behaves. Well, it's not as methy, but it's still giving us too much information, huh? So here's kind of what we have to do. When we say cat access log, that does what? It just casts the whole file. Now, what if I did this? I'll do it in the command line first to give you an idea, but yeah, let's just do it that way. Let's do cat home logs access log vertical bar cut field 1 minus field 1 dash delimiter space. Does that look a little better? It's giving a list of IP addresses, isn't it? Let's work from here. All right. Now let's sort them. Now they're all sorted. That's slick. Now let's do this magic thing called unique. UNIQ -C. It now gives us unique IP addresses and how many times they hit the machine. So let's look at that command. Let me make it clear and run it. I'll make it just a little smaller so it all fits on one screen. Now I can make it bigger so I don't have to worry so much. So what are we doing? We are taking one file and we are cutting out the IP address, and then we're sorting it, and then we're stuffing it through unique and getting our count. Now, repeat this process for all the files in the directory. Oh, thank you. Yes. All right. So work on that. All right. I'll jump online. Take care of this. We'll continue building. Lovely. they're busy doing other things. Okay. So. What do we do next? So we know we have two files that can use cat. And all the rest of them, we can use zcat. What would happen if I used a wildcard that said dot asterisk dot gz zcat? Wouldn't that take all our files, blow them up, strip out the first column, sort them, and unique them, and then give me a count? Let's see what happens. Sure enough, that was fast. Look at that. We have 142 people coming from this one. Who are they? 134, 142, 766. And then, you know what I can do now is run this through sort again, blank. And let's, I want to sort on numeric. Oh, look, there's 2,115 that come from that IP address. Look how fast I did that. This is why you need to know bash. Because basically what I've done is bash in its essence is it takes your command lines and automates them. That's the easiest way to think of what bash does. So it collects your keystrokes and gives you a lot of capability in programming. Okay. So this gets all of our files, doesn't it? And then it sorts it, it uniques it, and it gives me some count. That's pretty slick. We're done. Okay. Now, I want to remember this wonderful golden command line so I can copy it or whatever I want to do with it. And I'm going to put it in my script here in some comment so I can remember the syntax of it. Okay. Now, if I wanted to do this 2 more times, I could actually do something like this. I could say cat / home logs access log, and I can do the same thing. Let's do uppercase D, escape, uppercase D, lowercase p, and then do YY paste, access log.1. Is this all of my files that I have in that directory? Actually, it is, because we had 2 that were flat ASCII that needed cat, and everything else was GZ. So this gets everything else, and these are the 2 files, but we kind of want to do something a little different, right? We want to take all this stuff. We do want all our IP addresses. Basically, we need these 2 files added to our big pile. We need all these files in one big pile. Well, there's a couple ways we can do this. And I think the easiest way to do it would be right here. And I'll just say redirect into $.tmp. This is very important. And then I'll do it again. Oops. Except I'm going to append it to my $.tmp. And then guess what? I'm going to do it again. Remember, this is in my comment section. Now I have a file that I need to do. Whoops, that didn't work. All right, so here's what I will do on the last part. Cat $temp. Now I want to do the sort, right? And do the, what comes after sort? The unique, yeah. And then I want to put it the -c at the end. So I get my counts. And then I want the very last one to have a sort -n. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of my script. And then let me do 4dd, put it down here and make these two commented out. We'll be coming back to loops, don't worry. The reason I'm doing it this way is the $temp is special. The $temp says, when you create this file, give me a process ID. And it's a unique number to you and your process. So as long as I'm within the same shell script, this is available to me. And then once I sort it, so what I can actually do is something like this. Think of it as a way to do temp files. And I can say, just call here, put it in my home directory. No, I want to put it in my current directory. Call it results.txt cat results. And then as a good steward, I would say rm $.tmp, but I'm not going to do that yet. We're going to run those 3 commands and see what we get. But so far, we've done nothing with the geoip lookup, have we? That's coming. Okay. So if I run it, IP_60, there's my numbers. All the files are included. And if I do an LR, oh, look, there's this funny looking temp file with a number in it. That's my temp file that has everything in it. Let's cat that file and see what's in it. Bunch of IP addresses that are sorted. Kind of. They're in ASCII order, not numeric order. Okay. So, want that. Now that we have our results are basically IPs by count, right? That's all they are. That's kind of nice, really. We can also do this in the environment. And if we have time, I'll show you how to do that. we can do the same exact process by putting everything into the environment variable, which on a machine like ours would be fine. But if we were trying to do this same, all of us on a Raspberry Pi 3, we're going to run out of RAM. It's just not enough. We are not constrained by RAM on our server, okay? So I now have results, okay? But, okay, I'll just keep it on disk for the time being, okay? But now what I have to do is go through results and look at the IP address and do the geoip lookup. So let's take a quick look at results. And oh, look, here's one. So let's do geoip lookup. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. Russia. How dare they? Let's find out who the most count is. I'm curious for that one. Singapore. Oh, they've got their bots running overtime. Wonder how many of these are actually US. Are we curious now? So now there's another way we can do this is when we say cat results, how do I get just an IP address? I don't want the counts. I want just the second field. Cut. This might work. Delimiter space field 2. Nope, not going to work. We have to use plan B. We have to use awk because when we cat results, we have an uneven number of spaces. Cat will or cut will work perfect if you always only have one space between every field. If you have slightly structured text that is kind of tabs and white spaces and cut's going to drive you crazy because you'll be writing for exceptions the rest of your life. So we will use another tool. It's called awk. Talk about squirrely syntax. Everything's important. Then we say print $2 squirrely single. So basically what this says is fire up the awk programming language, run the print command from the awk programming language on the value that I'm substituting into the double quotes or the single quotes, and then print the second value of each line. Magic. There's another line I want to remember. Put that in my code. All right. So how do we want to do this? So we know that this command will give us a list of IP addresses, right? So now let's go through and get our list of IP addresses and give each IP to geoip lookup. Okay. So I want to take this. So I'm going to use VI just so I don't confuse myself here. I'm going to use uppercase D, lowercase p, lowercase p. And I'll just put that there so I don't get a bunch of temps everywhere. So that's going to work. That's going to give me all my IPs. Here we go. I need to create a variable called IP list equals $ open close for X in $IP list. Do geoip lookup $X. Done. Now what it will do is it will go through and look up each IP and return our country. But I already got a feeling this isn't quite right. Let's see if my hunch is correct. It's going to give us good information, but not what we think we want. Do IPCC. Yep, just about right. I don't have any IP address there, do I? I kind of want to see those. So let's go back to our code. All I have to do there is put in echo -n $X, and let's separate it with a space. Echo -n means do not use a carriage return at the end of the echo line. So print the IP and then do geo lookup and match the IP with the geo lookup. See how that works. Much better. Okay. But still, this doesn't quite give me, I'm missing counts and this sort of thing and that sort of thing. And notice I get these things in there. We'll talk about those in a minute. Okay. So we got wow. Believe, Bulgaria, Moldova. Pretty cool. China, Bulgaria. But we have a problem. These don't work. Anybody know? IP6. It's a valid IP address. If you're on Comcast, you probably have an IP6 address on your external router, on your external site. Pretty transparent to you for the most part. But we can't use those. Darn, I have to remove them somehow. Well, we'll get there. We'll see how far we get tonight. Okay. So basically, kind of what we want is our list of IPs. Do we want to count how many times an IP hits us or how many times a country hits us? Two separate answers, two separate algorithms. We'll start with how many times the IP hits us, since we have that data in play already. Okay. So if I cap my results again, there's my counts. Okay. That says the second field, cat results, each line. It will separate on Oh, that might work $1. Now it's going to give us 2 lines. Echo. P. And then let's do print. Every time I do this, I do it differently. So it's kind of fun, but sometimes I forget and I make glorious mistakes. And then you're taking notes so fastidiously, thinking I'm writing such good code. It just slop, you know, but we'll see if it works or not. Okay. R1, 2, and put this into uppercase Y. No, I don't think I'll need to do that. We'll do that. That's a good question. I don't know if geoip will work this way. Well, I could do it the other way. Try it this way. And then I'm not sure if that'll work. Let's see. No command says show. Okay. So it's not going to let me do the awk on site because it's got IP. Oh, I can do that. Or am I confusing another programming language with this? I think that's Python. Yeah, I didn't think so. That's Python. Python lets you do that. All right. Let's rethink this. Because we want to save results and the count. But we only want the country to be added to each line of results. Ideas welcome. Oh, I know another way we could do this. Let's go up here and not worry about the counts and just get a sorted list of IPs. So that's going to go through and give us every IP and every country. Then we'll run it through sort and unique and get our counts by IP and country. Let's see if that works. So here, so we're counting results, and that's just going to give us the IP list. All right, so when I run this, I cat a file, cat a file, cat a file, cat all of them, sort them and unique them, remove the junk, cat it, loop for geoip on the IP address, because that's the only thing in there. And we'll see what the output is. Oops, everything except our IP address, which we know how to fix that by doing, well, for the right, yeah, echo -n $x. I'm going to use the vertical bar. The vertical bar is my favorite separator because it just works. And so when I run this, I now have a delimiter of one character that in all my years of computing has never, ever been used as a piece of data. It's never been in somebody's name, address, phone number, general ledger account, you name it. I've never seen a vertical bar used that way. It makes a great separator. This is the default separator in SQLite. They separate everything with a vertical bar. Once I discovered vertical bar as a separator, it solved many of my ETL problems, okay? The extract, transformation, and layout. Now that I have this, what happens when I do sort? We'll do numeric. No, we won't. Then we'll do unique. -C. It's gonna take a while because it's got to run a script. Got a bunch of those that it can't do anything with. Oh, those are all our IP6 addresses. So everything's one. 11111 1111111.
Would you have to do unique first, then sort?
Pardon?
Wouldn't you have to do unique first, then sort?
Louder.
Wouldn't you have to do unique first, then sort?
Unique will only work on a sorted file. So that's legitimate. I think it needs to be inside the script. So what we can do is let's do the same thing. Echo. Oh, this is a cool little syntax thingy for you. You'll see syntax this way, but it looks funny. But basically what it does, I've seen it written like this. TMP2. You can also put it on the same line. But this does not mean what you think it does. What this is actually saying with those open parens, inside of bash, it says, take the output of this command and the output of the next command and the output of the next command and put it into one file. So up here at the top, I could do that. Okay. And I'm curious to see what IP2 looks like. So I'll just run it without any sorting or anything. Yeah. See if it dies on me. So if I cat 2.0, well, there we go. There's my IP and country. I think I could speed this up a little bit by doing the sort unique before I do the geo lookup. Because that seems to be what's taking the time is the geoip lookup. So let's try that. So results is everything. So let's do sort and unique. We'll leave the counts out for the time being. This will make the file much smaller and run much quicker, I think. Maybe not as fast as I thought. Oh, if you ever want to see how fast something takes, use the time command. Put in the word time, space, your bash script, and it'll tell you how long it takes to run. So I now have another temp file, 209. Now these are sorted and unique. A lot of those are for Russia. We can have a lot of fun with this. We can keep going and going and going. Okay. That kind of looks pretty good. Except I have no idea how many times each IP address hit us. That's what we want to put back in. So let's do this funny nomenclature. To right here. Oops. Close paren space. And then I don't need these guys. And that would give us the same answer. It should anyway. Sort unique. And then if I echo X, which now is going to have two fields. Put it into array, but I don't want to do that. Sort, hey, Brent.
Hey.
Yeah, we're doing some bash smashing.
You're bashing
So-
bash.
I'll let you guys work on this, and we're gonna go yammer in the back here and try to get a few things figured out.
Solve the world's problems.
Yeah, see if we can find a rationale. Please hire somebody. Oh, okay.
we'll finish our double forces. Let me know.
Yeah.
We'll get a bunch of certificates.
Sounds good.
It shouldn't take long.
It's really just, it's already there.
Yeah.
Most of it's built. It's just-
Yeah. Put them together. Yeah.
It's kind of really dry. Like,
Was that?
even on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get it done.
All right.
All right, talk to you later.
All right.
Did you get all figured out? Oh, darn, you're not gonna come up and teach and show me your excellent code? Bummer. All right. So how far have we gotten? We've gotten to the list where we have our IP and they're sorted. And then we have the country code, but we don't have any counts. So how can we do that? Let's see here. If we put, let's see, $temp is sorted and unique. What if we did right here? No, we'd have to do it after the file is closed. So after temp is closed, say cat $.tmp through unique with the counts. And then I will remove .tmp. Otherwise, I'm going to start getting a lot of those guys. No, let's just call it results 2. Let's do that. Let's call this results 2. So we start at the top and it goes bunch of IPs, bunch of IPs, bunch of IPs stuck into a file. A bunch of IPs catted, sorted, and unique to put into results. Then remove the temp file. And then we display results, sorted and unique it a second time. I don't think we need to do that. Oh, no, we do. Oh, maybe we don't. Well, anyway, won't hurt. And then I'll go see unique C. And then let's just let that run as it is. And it will take a while to run, but what it should do is give us our 2115, which it did not, on the sort unique at the end. So something about the sort is not working right. Results 2. F. It's sorting the entire file. We need to sort it on a field. I wonder if I can do that. I think what's messing us up is my vertical bar. Let's go take out the vertical bar. And just put in a space. The sort works off space.
Smoke test, ready, 1, 2, 3, boom. We're getting closer. Let's see, cat resorts 2. There's that, and we want to do. That isn't right. I'll sort by column. Now we're back to square one. When you write code, plan on rewriting the whole thing more than once. That's just kind of how it works. So I want to look at my results text and see what's in there. It's sorted, but it's not unique. So if I unique it, and then this a die. This is going to look funny. We'll see what results and results 2 look like if it finishes. I know there's an easy fix. It's just my brain is not connecting here. Yeah, that's definitely no. Cat results. So that's giving us our counts. We know that works. And then we want it through the sort minus n. I think what I'm going to have to do is there's the equivalent parsing. You know, like in Python, there's a list. You take a list, you take field 1, field 2. You can do that in Bash too, but I forget what the syntax is. It's like squirrely bracket, square bracket, 0, square bracket, squirrely bracket. I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't remember. So there you have some code to tinker with. So go make it better. And let's see here. So that much down to here. Let's put another multi-line comment in. Comment 2. CNT. And now if I just run it, it's going to create one file, results. It gives me everything I'm looking for. So what I need to do is when I collect the data, I want to do a geo lookup on the second half of the data and put the results all together. Right? That's basically, we just want to add it to that. What if we did something just a little bit? What if I did this? Sort unique by number. Gives us results. Sort unique. I'm going to try something here. Results.text, and then I'm going to overwrite my 2 here for this next run and take this out and this. So I'm going to have 2 files, results and results 2. Oh, look. Why is results 2 so big? Oh, yeah. Got the geoip in there. Results. Oh, that's what happened. Need the single quotes around the multi-line comment or it runs it. All right, now I will get a clean results. Sort unique. There it is. Now, if I do this, WC minus L, that means word count. Give me the number of lines in this file. I have 4783. I'm going to go back and change my code to put in minus C vertical bar sort minus N and put that in results by itself. Run it again. And results and results. Why is results so big? There are a lot more lines in it. The same number of lines. Okay, it's just got more spaces in it. Okay. All right. So the difference in output between including or not including those characters is nada. It doesn't change the number of lines in the file. And results text, it's got all the data we want except the geoip lookup. There is a way. Pardon me. I'm flying out tonight at about 1 in the morning. Going to Colorado Springs. That's your homework. We get to work on this. So spend some time figuring out. I think what we're going to need to do is restructure when we decide to do our geo lookup. So when we have our list of sorted IPs, which we do, creating a loop over this. This works, sort of, but I actually need to get the counts back in. So if we do geo lookup just on our list without sort C, let's try this one little last thingy bubber. We know this works. It gives us a list of IP addresses. Okay. And what happens if we do this? Here's our list of IP addresses. Then we list the IPs, do the geo lookup, and give us our, so we'll have two files, results and results 2. Both files should have the same number of lines in them. So let's see. Results is 47 and results 2. It does not have the same number of lines. Why is that? Let's look at results 2. There's a lot more lines in it for some reason. There's 9,000 lines in it compared to what we had. Something about geoip lookup is giving us more lines. Echo minus n. What's happening here? And not much you can do with it. What's V for? No. This is what my assumption is. Word count 4985. And if I do the same thing on results, not quite doubled. 6. Methinks the problem be in this neck of the woods, right here. So if I get rid of this line, I should get 2 files that have the same number of lines, but completely different data sets. No, 15,000, yeah.
Is it because of the IPv6 errors?
That has to be. It's got to be the IP6 because when we do the sort, yeah, because if we look at results, txt and do less so we can go one page at a time. Do you see any IP6 addresses in there?
Mine has errors.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's saying because when it runs the IPv6, it prints out the error. And so it's reading the error message as part of it.
Yeah, that's why you're getting the line.
That makes sense.
Because you're getting like
Oh, now we just learned a very important thing. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
uh,
So what we should do is clean out the IP6. And we can do that fairly simply. Let's see, how would we want to do that? There's a couple different ways. Let's go back to that. Yeah, hold on a second here. Ha! I knew there was a way. This is why you need to work with Bash a lot, because you forget stuff like this. What that says is I should probably put it up here too. Go right up here, cat. Results. I don't need it here. I only need it on that first one. Okay. This should create results taught text. If you run it, if I don't delete my $temp, we'll double check to see if it works by keeping this around. Okay. So I'm going to have two new files after I run this. And well, three new files. And they'll be at the bottom, LR1. LR1 is an alias I create. So if I cat my temp file, which is 32 something, it stripped out all the IP6s, I'm pretty sure. Oops. Now I want to cat. Let's do this. Cat 32 word count minus L. 42,000. Huh. All right, let's see what the other ones are. Results. That number stays the same. That number doesn't. Now let's look at results 2. And let's see if we can find, is it less is a pager and it uses the VI bindings. What I'm doing is I'm just holding the D key for down a page and I'm just doing a visual. There's some VB, there's 6s. So the grep minus V not. Oh, all right. I have to figure that one out. I don't remember. There's a way to use grep to say ignore IP6 addresses. This means not with a colon. So now that I have that temp file, I can take this. Here, and it was 32 temp. So it didn't work right. All right, there we go. That's what we get to do. We got to figure out how to ignore an IP6 address. So it kind of works. We'll continue this next week. And next Tuesday, the drives are supposed to be here on Monday for the servers. Now on Tuesday, I'll send a message out on Monday. So if all the drives come in on Tuesday, show up with your Phillips screwdriver and we'll start putting the trays and the drives together and putting it inside the Linode boxes. And then we can boot them. And then you guys have created an auto install and we can start installing the machines. And then we start putting them in the racks. So not very often you get to say you built a server rack. You know, that's a pretty rare thing anymore. Okay. So we'll continue this on and I'll make an assignment in Canvas to the bash geoip lookup project. And I will write that right here. Okay, that's all I have got, folks.